Hello lovely ladies and gents. In this series I'm going to walk you through how to learn different Japanese words and kanji from everyday objects. So not only is it applicable if you plan to visit or live in Japan, but also hopefully it's a fun new way to learn Japanese. As always, please like and subscribe if you want to see more, and if you want to share your questions or comments below, you can post them in the comments section. So with that said, let's jump right in. Today's object is the humble air conditioner remote, which is very essential in those hot, humid summers in Japan. It also has a lot of basic kanji and some more advanced kanji that you can use for everyday life. So let's go over some of these. I will look at the remote itself and we can talk about some of these kanji and I'll break it up as we go along. All right, let's go. We're going to start by ignoring all these kanji on this screen display because a lot of them are the same. They're pretty much all the same as the ones down here. Now, if we go to our first kanji on this white button here, we have two different sets here, okay? So the first one is a combination, and that is unten, okay, unten. So let's have a good zoom in on that. Typically, this word is used to refer to driving, like unten shimasu, but can also mean operating machines or equipment. Now by itself, this doesn't necessarily tell you much about how it relates to doing something with the remote, but right next to it are kiru, which means to cut off or turn off, and then hairu, which means to turn on. A quick disclaimer, both of these kanji do have several other meanings that are common, so make sure you memorize them in different contexts. Now this context, we're obviously talking about turning this remote on and off, the air conditioner on and off. Now with the full picture, we can see that this button altogether means to cut off or turn on the air conditioning operation by pushing it, okay? So if we push this button, our air conditioner is going to come on. Okay, up next we have reibo, which means cooling or air conditioning. So the first kanji here means to cool, and then the next one means house or room. So we're cooling our house or room by pressing this. So air conditioning. You'll recognize this first kanji very quickly if you study Japanese, basic Japanese. You'll learn it after using several different words. The next one is also pretty frequent, so make sure you study this one as well. Luckily, it's in a nice blue color as well, so that helps with easily distinguishing, okay, this is the button I press to cool my house down. So that's very nice. So those are those two kanji. Now the ones next to it in red, that obviously means heating, okay? And this is danbo, okay? So similar kanji, right? So we have that same kanji on the end, that bo. So remember that means house or room. And so we're heating with that first kanji, the dan, heating our room, okay? Now the first kanji is often known by its kunyomi reading, atata, right? So like in the adjective atatakai. So be careful when reading this to remember to use the onyomi reading. Now the kunyomi refers to the standalone kanji. So if they were just one kanji, whereas the onyomi reading is the pronunciation you would use if there's a compound kanji. So in the instance of warmth, so atata, that's the standalone kanji, okay? But if you combined it to form danbo, now you have that dan, that's the compound onyomi reading, okay? So it's as simple as that. Now for this light green button. So this one is joshitsu. So joshitsu. The first one is jo, the second one is shitsu. So this means dehumidification. So the first one, that first kanji, the jo, that means remove. Okay, so that first one means remove. This next kanji is damp, moist, wet, okay? So literally, we're removing the wetness or the dampness, okay? So very simple, but a more advanced word that you might not learn normally. Okay, so now moving on to the kanji in the yellow button now. So this means jido. So the first kanji, ji, and then the second kanji, do, together. And this means automatic, okay? So the first one, ji, means self or oneself. The second one, do, means movement or motion. So quite literally, if you pair them together, it's self-motion or automatic. So very nice pairing as well. So automatic. So this will come on automatically for certain conditions, okay? So the air conditioner will come on automatically. Okay, moving down to the lower half of our remote here, we have two white buttons here on the left, and those have the same first compound kanji. So those two kanji to start right there are the same, and that is fuko. So fuko. The first one is an easy kanji, okay, that one on the very left. That means wind, so kaze. So the next one over here is facing forward or tending forward. I like to think of it as direction either literally or figuratively. So a tendency towards a certain direction. And altogether it means wind direction, okay? So which direction your air or the wind is blowing. With the sense of our air conditioner here, it means that the direction of your air is blowing. Okay, so now there are the two kanji on the end, and these are separate. They're not compound kanji, okay? So even though they're closely all packed together, you want to think of it as three kind of separate parts. You have this first one here, this pairing of kanji, and then you have another one here, and then you have our last kanji. So the third kanji on this string of characters is ue, or up, okay? So that means to increase, go up, above, those kind of things. Conversely, you have kita, which means down, below, etc. Okay? So going down or going up, so we're either moving the direction of that air conditioner to blow up or to blow down. Now with our second button, instead of going up and down, we have left and right. So hidari is the first kanji, and then midi is the second kanji right there. Okay, so left and right respectively. So we're changing the direction of that air conditioner to blow left or to blow right. Also, very simple and good kanji to know, very easy beginner kanji. So taken all together, these kanji will change the direction that the air is blowing. This button on the bottom here, this white one, we have kaze and then ryo. So again, we have wind, kaze, and then ryo, which means quantity or amount. Now put together, it means airflow, as in the amount or quantity of air flowing. I love it when the two kanji put together mean something that makes sense, and here is another case of that. Finally, our last new kanji is this one in between these two arrows, and it's called ondo, which means temperature. So this is another compound kanji. Conveniently, the first kanji in this compound means warmth, and then the second can be used to mark or mean degrees, like in a symbol. So at the bottom here, we have, again, those kind of first two kanji that we started with. We have hairu, which means to turn on electronic devices in this context, and then kiru, to cut off electronic devices or to turn off. We also have katakana down here. So katakana are characters that represent foreign words. So they use these characters when they need to spell or make up a foreign word. So that's when they use katakana. So we have katakana, which are very useful to learn. Altogether, taima, or timer, as we would call it in English. So very nice. We have our understanding now of all the different words and kanji in this context with our humble air conditioner remote. Let's do a quick bonus point for this lesson. I mentioned that if you want to express degrees, like in a temperature, or also you could use it for angles, you can use this kanji on the end here. So just this kanji, which is pronounced do. So if you wanted to say it's 26 degrees outside, you could say soto wa 26 do desu. Broken up, that means soto wa is outside, as for outside. 26, 26. Do, your degree marking kanji. And then desu, so it is. So soto wa 26度 desu. And there you have it. So hopefully you can understand your air conditioner remote all that better. And you can also use these words for everyday conversation, very useful words. So make sure you practice using those and study those kanji. and I hope that you learned something today. Also, if you would like a transcript of this lesson with all the kanji, some words, and some meanings, let me know in the comments below, and I might just work on that. Maybe make it a part of my Patreon or something like that. Okay, so with that said, thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next one where we talk about everyday objects in Japanese. All right, take care, everyone.